Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles, where today, in the AMX 1375 Tier 7 French light tank, incoming here, is going to be playing a highly unusual Tier 8 standard battle here on the Ruenberg map. And I know I've seen that name before. This is definitely not the first time I've featured him, I just can't remember where it was. Anyway, not important. So, what's so unusual about this battle? Well, you're just going to have to be patient, aren't you? And wait till the end and find out. I mean, there are all kinds of different reasons why I pick a battle to feature in a video. Sometimes it's obvious. The guy's done 10 kills and gotten 12,000 damage. This is not going to be one of those. Fairly disastrous start. T-34 just got himself ammo-racked by the enemy Scorpion G. Actually, that Scorpion G is going to get off to a really good start. He's just managed to claim his second kill and nailed the Super Chaffee as well. So, great start for the enemy team. Enemy Scorpion G fires 2 shots, gets 2 kills, doesn't get spotted. Oh, looks like the AMBT wants that spot. Fair enough, he does have a bigger gun. Wait, you don't want that spot. Okay. Whatever. So, the AMX 1375. This battle is going to go right down to the wire, by the way. So, while... Whoa! What the hell? Did he just bounce a 90mm shell from a Progetto 46? You see how he stopped there and had a quick look to inspect the damage? Like, how the hell? Yeah, the AMX 1375. I have to admit, I was never a big fan of this tank. I'm not saying it's a bad tank, it's not, it's pretty good. It's just that I was never a big fan of it. See him reversing up here, trying to spot presumably the Progetto 46 and whatever else might be down there through the bushes. The reason I was never a huge fan of this tank is because, well, at the time when this was introduced, I really just didn't see the point. I mean, it's small, it's stealthy, it's fast, and it has a 4-shot autoloader. But there were plenty of other tanks in the game, sometimes tanks one tier lower, which could do everything that this tank could do, except better. For example, the 1375 used to be at tier 6, they've redone the French light tank line since then, it's tier 7 now, but when this was a tier 6, the tier 5 Soviet T-50-2 was in the game, and the AMX 1375 is small and stealthy. The Russian tank was smaller and stealthier. The 1375 is fast. The Russian tank was faster. But the 1375 has a 4-shot autoloader, yes, which means it has lower damage per minute. Because once those 4 shots are fired, it has to spend 20 seconds doing nothing and reloading, something that the T-50-2 with its 57mm gun never had to do. It could just keep bumping a shot out every 3 seconds. Well, yeah, sure, but this is an autoloader. It has higher burst damage from that 4-shot clip. Well, yes, that is certainly technically true, but it's not that much better. The 57mm gun on the Soviet Tier 5 could almost achieve the same amount of damage in the same time window as the 1375 while it's emptying its magazine. And because it didn't, unlike the AMX 1375, then have to run away and hide for 20 seconds while it reloads that magazine, the Soviet tank could just keep doing DPM, and in the length of time it would take the AMX to reload and come back for more, the Soviet tank, which, let me remind you, was a whole tier lower, had done double the AMX DPM. So I just didn't see the point of this tank. I'm not saying it's a bad tank, it isn't. I'm just saying that when it was introduced, there were other tanks with the same role in more or less the same matchmaking spread that did everything this thing did, except better. But that was a long time ago, Jingles. Things have changed. It's tier 7 now. Yeah, that's true, but hold that thought. Enemy Sturrer in Mill has just gotten spotted and bitch slapped. He's going for the tracks. Wow. Wow. 1 shot left. Come on. Got him. Okay, good. Yes, so that was a long time ago. Things have changed. It is now a tier 7 light tank. The American tier 7 light tank, the T-71, does everything that the AMX 1375 can do, except better. Yep, the more things change, the more they stay the same. The T-71DA, not the premium, right, the tech tree tank, oh hang on a second, VK3601H. And he sees you, and he's hit you. Yeah, it might be time to fall back. There's just really... yeah. Then again, do you want to... well, you don't want to be sitting there when the VK comes over that hill. So, you don't... at the same time, you really don't want to abandon your teammates up there. Even though the rest of your team are getting absolutely slaughtered. The Scorpion's dead, there's just the AMBT up there. Can you recite the VK? No. The AMBT could definitely use some assistance. He's bugging out. The thing is he abandoning the flank entirely, or is he just falling back and needs somebody to spot targets for him? You know what? We'll move up and we'll spot targets for him. Oh shit, yeah, that was bad. Yeah, you don't have to spot them with your face incoming. Oh, that's even worse. Oh no. And hug the side of the building. And relax. And wait for the reload. It looks like the AMBT isn't bugging out. He is still looking for targets. Oh, he's moving in. Go on, my son. Get them. And we've reloaded. Let's give him some help. Come on, come on. There we go. And again, and again, and again. Yeah, finish him. Finish him. Come on, do it. What are you waiting for? Nice. Oh, can he get the Super Chaffee before the VK comes around the corner? He can! The AMBT has also killed the Super Chaffee. Okay, now, things don't look too bad if you're just looking at the scores, 10 kills to 11, but if you look at the health difference between the two teams, yeah, things are actually pretty desperate. There's now 3 of them against 5 enemies. Yeah, there's now 2 of them against 5 enemies. Just incoming and the AMBT, and they only have 425 health between the 2 of them against nearly 3,000 hit points worth of enemy tanks. Yeah. This is exactly the kind of situation where a medium tank on low health is really, really grateful to have a light tank spotting for it. Which is exactly what incoming is going to be doing. Nicely done. Right, that's narrowed the gap a little. The enemy team now only have about 8 times the remaining health that they do. Where did that VK go? Right, there's somebody in the cap circle. At the moment there's only 1. Probably the IS-3. Oh, there's 2 of them in there now, so probably the IS-3 and the Scorpion G. Well, they can't just sit here and let them win by capping. They have to go for it. Conscious of the possibility that that VK may be sitting in the bushes on the ridge in the middle of the map, he takes it as wide as he possibly can, and yep, it's the IS-3 and the Scorpion G. The Scorpion G is way easier to kill than the IS-3. Unfortunately, the AMBT was very easy to kill as well, and has in fact died. Incoming is now the last tank left alive on his team. Against 4 enemies, including the VK3601H, that is more or less on full health, although the Scorpion G down there is not, and neither's the IS-3. Oh no, you don't need a bounce now. Come on, got him. Right, there's the cap reset. And we'll go for the reload, and get the hell out of here, because, yep, there's the VK. And he's not more or less on full health, he is on full health. And that probably means that the GW Panther is also on full health, because the enemy team have 1,600 hit points remaining between the 2 of them. This is going to be a problem. Not just because incoming only has 180 hit points left. I mean, that's a problem, but it's not the big problem. The big problem, for those of you who haven't already figured it out, is that VK doesn't have enough ammunition left to do 1,600 hit points worth of damage. And there's just less than 6 minutes of this game left. So his plan is to kill the artillery and then hope that the VK is too slow to prevent him from capping out, because he doesn't have the ammo to kill the VK and the artillery. He just has to find the artillery first, although he's got a fairly good idea of where he's going to be. So it's a long shot, but it might just work. He just needs to find and kill the artillery and then get into the cap circle. As plans go, it's not terrible, and he probably would have gotten away with it too, if not for the fact that the first of the 3 remaining rounds of armor piercing that he had left got absorbed by the side of the GW Panther, which means now, instead of already being on his way to the enemy cap circle after having killed the artillery, he's sitting behind him waiting for the reload, and the VK3601H is already in his cap circle. So he can now no longer win by capping. He has to fight the VK. And he even planned his reload out with the limited remaining ammunition very, very well, because he only had 3 rounds of armor piercing and 5 rounds of APCR, and he loaded the armor piercing first, knowing that it would take exactly 3 rounds of armor piercing to kill a GW Panther. And then of course RNG said, nope, side shot at an artillery, yeah, that's going to bounce. So now he only has 4 rounds of APCR remaining, which is not enough to do 1240 damage to a VK3601H, even if every shot hits and penetrates. And I know what you're all thinking. He's going to get an ammo rack with his last shot, isn't he? Yeah, hold that thought. Let's just see if you're right. 4 shots left. 1240 hit points worth of damage to do. Not physically possible unless he gets an ammo rack. Okay. He's got to get a reset here no matter what happens. So where's the VK? There he is. It doesn't look like the VK's seen him, but there's the reset. Second shot goes in, does damage. Third shot goes in, does damage. He has exactly 1 shot left. Didn't stick around waiting to fire the 4th and final shot just in case that VK managed to get the turret around and snipe him, because the VK can one-shot kill him. He cannot one-shot kill the VK. He still has to do 857 damage with 1 shell. If he'd been in a T-71DA, he wouldn't have this problem. Because like I was saying earlier, the T-71DA, the American Tier 7 light tank, is better than the AMX 1375 in every way that matters. It's faster, it carries 50% more ammunition in its magazine, ammunition that has better penetration, higher shell velocity, is more accurate, and as well as loading 50% more of this ammunition into the magazine when the gun's ready to fire, it also carries almost 100% more of this ammunition in its stowage into battle at the beginning of the match. If he'd been in a T-71DA here, he wouldn't just be getting around the map faster in order to get his next reset off, he'd still have 26 shots left, so he wouldn't have this problem. But he isn't in a T-71DA. He's in an AMX 1375. The only advantage this tank has is it does have better stealth, and he's going to need every inch of that in order to get this final shot off and his final reset against the VK and pray for an ammo rack. There he is. Here it is. You ready? No ammo rack. He did get a reset though. But here's the other problem. Even though he managed to fire without getting spotted, now what's he going to do? Because he's got no ammo left. And there's 2 minutes of this game remaining. And it's only going to take the VK a minute and a half to win by capping. But he couldn't have delayed the shot any longer. The VK was about to win by capping, so he pretty much had to take the shot. Even if he'd left it to the last possible second, there's still more than enough time left for the VK to just sit there going, yeah, and is that the best you can do? And then just continue winning by capping, which is exactly what the VK is doing, because, well, why would you try to go chasing after a small, fast, light tank when you're in lumbering heavy, like the VK3601H? He's got no ammo left. I mean, the VK doesn't know that, but he doesn't need to know that. He just needs to sit in the cap circle, and he'll win. And that's what he's doing. Incoming has a minute left. With no ammunition, he has to figure out a way to do 711 damage to the VK in order to win. And you can't ram him. He's a heavy, you're a light. You'll kill yourself on him and lose. But it doesn't have to be a full speed direct head-on ram. You can just kind of brush by him. And the VK missed. You can nearly kill yourself. You only have to do 1 point of damage to the VK in order to get that cap reset. And if that should happen to cost you 175 of your 180 remaining hit points, well, that's health well spent. He couldn't win. Well, he could have, if he'd gotten an Amarak with his last shot, but, well, that ship sailed about 2 minutes ago. But he can at least make sure that the VK loses as well. And so that's what he did. I don't normally celebrate draws because, well, both teams lose in a draw. There is no winner. But I'm quite happy to make an exception in this case because that was hilarious. Incoming. Getting off multiple, almost 100% cap resets and still only getting the 1 defender medal. Personally, if you ask me, I think he was robbed. But anyway, that's it for today. Incoming, achieving the impossible. But getting the best result he possibly could under the circumstances. And I hope you were all as amused by it as I was, because that's it for today. As always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.